walked to the bed and turned the light off and stared at the window to see if the shadow or silhouette came back. But it did not. I lay awake for an hour or more trying to figure out what I had seen. I never saw the shadow again. And the only thing I noticed after going back to bed was that the room started warming up again, even though the coolest part of the night was still to come. That's it. I may or may not have seen a ghost that night. I am inclined to think that I did, because if it were a shadow of some object outside, it would have come back when I turned the light out again. And the chill in the room slowly subsided after the silhouette was gone. But I guess I'll never know for sure. Old man in the door. When I was around 7 years old, I used to hate sleeping in my own room as I was afraid of the dark and always slept with my mom and dad. One night my dad was downstairs, and as he liked to drink a lot of alcohol, he often fell asleep down there. My mom and I went to bed and left him downstairs. My brother, who was 15 at the time, was at his friend's, so he wasn't around. My mom's room was at the top of the stairs, whereas mine was straight down the hallway, so I was basically facing my room, but the hallway was quite long. My mom was facing the window and had her back to me, and I was facing my room. At this point my eyes were closed, but I felt strange and opened them to see an old man at the side of my door peeking at me. I blinked, but he was still there. I awoke my mom to tell her, and she just looked and told me to ignore it. I closed my eyes, but when I opened them he was still there staring at me. He then winked and disappeared. What scares me is the fact that the man who used to live in my house lived alone, and my room used to have 2 beds in there for what it seemed like 2 young girls. Also, my mom used to receive graphical magazines and inappropriate toys that were sent to the house for the old man that once lived here. A couple years later, I am now 15, but last year my best friend at the time was staying at my house. I was lying facing the wall trying to get to sleep, but she was singing and dancing. All of a sudden she stopped and started crying and shaking. I sat up and asked her what was wrong. After turning the light on, she explained she had seen an old man at the end of my bed staring at her. He then winked at her and disappeared. But I hadn't told my best friend about what had happened when I was 7, as I didn't want to scare her. So what she witnessed must have been real.